welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Grace. Lovely to meet you. So for today's video, we're just going to be doing like a day in my life reading vlog. We're going to talk about my current read. I'm going to give you book updates. I have a bunch of books that I recently bought that I want to show you. I literally have more coming in the mail today, so stay tuned. So before we start today's video, I would like to give a big thank you to today's sponsor, which is Baker Publishing. They were also kind enough to send me a copy of Her Heart's Desire by Shelley Shepherd Gray. This is about Mary Margaret Miller, and she needs an escape from her small Amish community, so she boards a bus all alone for a vacation in Pinecraft, Florida. Meeting Betsy and Lily on the way, she's amazed to find two kindred spirits. They become fast friends and determined to have the best 2 weeks of their lives. For Mary, it starts when she meets Jason, a handsome and charming carpenter. Jason is taken with Mary from the get-go, but he has responsibilities back home in Kentucky, including a girl he's supposed to marry. Oh my gosh, drama. And when someone from Mary's past shows up in Pinecraft, it seems like her perfect vacation is ruined, but that's nothing compared to what's coming when she realizes what Jason has been hiding. So this is a sweet, clean Amish romance, so if you're looking for a good closed-door romance to read this summer, highly recommend. This was also written by a New York Times best-selling author, and it focuses on themes like friendship, overcoming insecurities, and not letting your past define you. So if you're interested in grabbing your own copy, you can use my link, which is shown on the screen and in the description, for 30% off and free shipping in the US if you buy the book through the publisher's bookstore, Baker Bookhouse. Thank you so much for Baker Publishing for sponsoring this video. So I just got back from the gym. Took a shower, got ready, things like that. I usually work out at night just because my boyfriend and I are kind of gym buddies and he likes to work out at night, but it just hasn't been working out for me recently. I just have lost all motivation and consistency to work out at like 9-10 p.m. So I've been kind of redoing my schedule, my routine, if you will, and I've been working out in the morning, which is 10 times better for me personally, just because I feel like I'm the most productive in the morning, and when it hits like 7 p.m. I just want to lay in bed, eat my dinner, and relax. Like, I don't want to go to the gym. So yeah, that's a fun little life update, I guess. But my current read right now is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is a YA fantasy romance. I haven't read a fantasy book since probably middle school. I used to really like the fantasy genre, but when I got back into reading last year as an adult, I just really never picked up a fantasy book. They seemed a little bit harder to read. It just seemed complex. So yeah, this book is very beginner friendly, I will tell you that. There's really no like world building, there's no new vocabulary that you have to learn. It's very fairy tale-esque. They go to a lot of balls, and I love when they talk about all the gowns that they're wearing. It's like so much fun. I love the fashion aspect. Like, I was literally on Instagram and TikTok scouring like fan art of Evangeline, but yeah, this book is about Evangeline. She makes a deal with the Prince of Hearts to stop the wedding between the love of her life and her stepsister, because she is convinced that Luke, the love of her life, is under some sort of spell because he loves her. Like, why would he marry her stepsister? You know what I mean? So yeah, in exchange to stop the wedding, she agrees to kiss 3 people that Jax decides, and it's so good. I'm like 44% through, and I know what you're thinking. I have the hardback, and if you know me, I'm not a fan of hardbacks. However, this is my reasoning. The 3rd book is not out yet. Like, this series is not finished. I'm pretty sure the 3rd book is the last book, and it's only going to be available in hardback. And so I'm like, well, I want the whole series to match, so I might as well just buy the first 2 in hardback. Was it more money? Yes. Was it worth it? Also yes. So yeah, highly recommend. I'm not even finished with it yet, but I feel like it's gonna be like a 3.5, 4-star. Yay. That's so sweet. It's book haul time. So most of these books are fantasy just because I've been wanting to get back into reading fantasy books for a while now. I used to be a huge fantasy reader, like in middle school, junior high, things like that. But since getting back into reading as a hobby in adulthood, I just haven't read any fantasy books. So yeah, there are some romance books in here, but very few. So the first book we have is Kingdom of the Wicked. This is a YA romance fantasy, and it's about Amelia, and she has a twin sister, Victoria, and they are both witches who live secretly among humans in Sicily. And there has been some occurrences of witches being brutally murdered in their area, and Amelia's twin sister, Victoria, unfortunately fell into the same fate. She was brutally murdered, and overcome by grief and devastation, Amelia is sought out on a mission for vengeance and justice. She wants to figure out who killed her sister and why. So she ends up summoning one of the princes from hell, Wrath, and they kind of have a common motive because he's trying to help his brother Pride, like unleash or break this curse that he's under. And so they have a common motive, so they're working together to figure out who is killing all these witches and why. I have already read this book, I'll tell you that right now, and I loved it. I won't give you guys a review, that will be my monthly wrap up. But just know that this book has unleashed my fantasy era. I literally went to a shift at work and I could not stop thinking about this book. I work in retail, so I work at a clothing store, and I was just folding shirts all day, just thinking about going home and reading this book. So after reading Kingdom of the Wicked, that sparked me to buy the rest of the series. So I bought the second book, Kingdom of the Curse, and then the final book, Kingdom of the Feared. And you may be like, Grace, these are hardbacks. I thought you were a paperback girly. Like, your first book is in paperback. Listen, this is my reasoning. The third book is only available in hardback right now, and if I wanted the paperback, I'd have to wait until like September. And I can't do that. I need more of Wrath, and I need more of Amelia, and just everything they're going through. So I ended up buying the next two in hardback, and then I'm gonna rebuy the first book later in hardback so they all match. So yeah. So I have book 2 and book 3. It's just a trilogy, so after these next two, I'll be finished with this whole series. But yeah, I literally can't wait to get back into these books. The next book you guys have already seen, it's Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is also my current read. I talked about it a little bit earlier in the video. But yeah, this is a YA, a romance fantasy. I think I've already given you guys a synopsis, so I won't right now. But I also got the second book because I have been told that this book leaves off on a cliffhanger, and that you need to read the second one like right after. Like, that's what you're gonna want to do the minute you finish this book. So I just had to pull the trigger and buy both. So yay. And these are also in hardback because the third book is not released yet, and when it is, it's only going to be released in hardback, and then the paperback will come later. And I just know I'm not going to want to wait. So I got the hardbacks. So the next book we have is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is an adult fantasy. So far I've only been reading YA fantasy, which honestly I haven't been having issues with. I read a few YA books last year and I didn't like entirely love them just because they came off very juvenile, but YA fantasy is actually really, really good. It hits, I promise you. But this is an adult fantasy. I think there's a subplot of romance because I am not in the part of my reading journey where I can read a book without some sort of romance plot line in there. Like I need to be fed some sort of crumbs, okay? But it's about this girl, and she is the adoptive daughter of the Vampire King, and every year there is this like huge battle, basically Hunger Games, where the winner gets to be granted some sort of like wish, and so the girl decides to enter this tournament so she can wish to be a powerful vampire like her father. And the way that this was described to me originally was just Vampire Hunger Games, and I was hooked. I was hooked. I did not need to know more. So, very excited about this book. So the next book is very hyped up. It is the OG fantasy TikTok book, and that is A Court of Thorns and Roses. Oh my god, that is such a mouthful. But yeah, I don't really know anything about the series. I just know like Bat Boys, but that doesn't come until later. I think this is YA, but the rest of the series is not YA. So, and I think this was told to me by a friend, but it's basically a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, but with fae, which are basically fairies, but kind of different. Excited. I'm excited to see what the hype is about. I'll probably do a reading vlog of this just because of how hyped up it is. So, yeah. So the next book is also a very hyped up TikTok book, and that is Shatter Me. This book has been popular for a long, long time because I remember this series being very popular when I was like in middle school, junior high. I just never read it, and if I did, I don't remember reading it. But it's about Juliet, and she has a lethal touch, so basically anyone she touches will die. And I think the government is holding her basically as a prisoner and plans on using her as a weapon in war and things like that. But basically this whole series is just about her like learning how to use her powers. And Aaron Warner, as you all know, I literally can't wait to see what the hype about him is about. So, yeah. We'll also probably be doing a reading vlog, and don't worry, I will read the novellas. I've been told they are crucial, so I will read them, I promise. So the remaining two books are just romance books, and that is Liars Like Us. This was sent to me by Valentine PR, so thank you so much for sending me this. But it is basically a billionaire romance, I think. The back of the book says, a young woman on the verge of bankruptcy, a mysterious billionaire with an offer that will change her life, an obsession so powerful it could destroy them both. Literally can't wait. I love billionaire romances, and this sounds like there's so much tea and drama. I can't wait. I'm not the biggest fan of the cover just because I hate when there are people on the covers. Like, no hate to this beautiful man right here, but I could live without him. But honestly, the premise of the book sounds really cool. I love billionaire romances. I think they're so fun. Rich, fictional men, sign me up. Sign me up. And the next book we have, the last and final book we have, may I add, is Culty by Mariana Zapata. I read my first Mariana Zapata book back in, I want to say like February or March, From Luca with Love, and I loved it. It was a 5-star read, absolutely loved it. I think since starting my reading journey last year, I have grown to appreciate slow burns. I love a good slow burn. I hate insta-love. Hate it. I used to like insta-love a little bit more because things just got going more, but I like to suffer. I like to have pain while I read for some reason. So, but Culty is a soccer romance. That's all I know about it. And that it's slow burn because Mariana Zapata is the queen of slow burns. But my boyfriend is a soccer player, so I just knew when I saw this at Barnes that I had to pick it up. And honestly, This was cheaper at Barnes. Like, I know Barnes is low-key overpriced compared to like Amazon and Target and stuff, but this was cheaper because I price matched it to their online price, and it was cheaper than Amazon. So check your Barnes, girlies. Check your Barnes. So it has been a while. Nolan and I just ate dinner. We finished White Lotus season 2. Oh my gosh. Literally such a good show. I wouldn't say it's fast paced, but it's drama packed. Like, it literally has you guessing and double guessing everything you think that's gonna happen, and then it like sprinkles crumbs and expects you to be satisfied, and it's so good. It's painful, but so good. I definitely like season 2 better than season 1 because season 1 I didn't like any of the characters. They were very I don't know, I just couldn't root for them, whereas season 2 I felt like had a good mix of, oh, these characters are awful versus, you know, characters that have no redeeming qualities whatsoever. But yeah, now we're done with dinner, done with our show. Nolan is playing video games right now because he has to work tomorrow, and he's a blue-collared boy, so he's gonna be working like a 12-hour shift, but I'm about to pick up Once Upon a Broken Heart again. I am about 70 pages done, I am 70 pages away from completing this book, and things are happening right now. Like, honestly, I don't think this book has a lot of romance in it, and I think that's why I've been a little bit more discouraged reading it, because there is really no romance subplot. Like, there are romance aspects, like she does have to kiss 3 people. She was betrothed to a prince, however, like, not really romancy for reasons that I cannot say because of I want to keep this spoiler free, but just trust me. And ever since I got book 2 of the Kingdom of the Wicked series, I've just been like gravitating towards it, but I think I'm gonna power through just because I know it gets better with book 2. I think Haley Pham was the person that said that book 2 had more romance, so I'm ready for it. To be fair, a lot of things are happening right now. Some characters came back, and that was like a shocking, like, literally, like, I was like screaming, oh my god, and Nolan was making fun of me while he's making dinner, so yeah. So I'm gonna power through this, and I will update you guys when I'm finished. I just finished Once Upon a Broken Heart, and let me tell you, when you buy this book, just go ahead and buy the second one, because this isn't a spoiler or anything, but just know this book ends with a huge cliffhanger. Like, you have to read the second book. Like, have to. It is a must. Yeah. Honestly, with the huge cliffhanger, I don't know if I'm going to read the second book next, or if I'm going to read the next book in the Kingdom of the Wicked series, because I have been thinking about that series for like days. I literally bought the next 2 books in that series after I finished the first one because I had to read the rest. But that's also how I feel about this book. Granted, I think I liked Kingdom of the Wicked, at least the first book in the series, better than this book, and here is why. I was told this was a romance fantasy, and there was not enough romance subplot for me to stay fully engaged. And you might be like, why, Grace? Literally, why? Why do you need romance? Because I'm a romance girly at heart. I started my reading journey as an adult reading solely romance books just because that's what kept me interested. That's what I loved. And so I knew when I jumped into reading fantasy now that I need some sort of subplot just because that's like who I am at a core. I am a romance reader at the core. And there just wasn't enough romance subplot for me. Like, there are romance aspects, like there's magical kisses, there's princes, there's a unrequited love, basically, but it just, like, there was no main love interest to the point where I was like, yes, I need to keep reading because I need to see if they are in love for realsies. Or, oh my gosh, the slow burn, like, love the tension building, blah, 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 blah. Like, there were crumbs, but not enough for me to be like, yeah, that is a romance. I don't know if the second book is going to have more romance aspects. I'm thinking it is, just because, like, why would you classify this as a romance fantasy series when there is, like, no romance in the first book? But I really enjoyed this book nonetheless. Like, I liked the premise, I liked the characters. It's YA, but it doesn't feel super juvenile or childish. Like, it feels very mature for what it is. I loved the fairy tale aspect. Again, I feel like that's just like a theme that I've been focusing on throughout this whole video that I've been talking about this book. Like, the whole fantasy, the going to the balls, the gowns, just, I love it. I live for it. But, yeah, just not enough romance. So, I don't think I'm gonna, like, give you guys an official rating right now, just because I need to, like, think this over. And, honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna have a real, like, solid rating until I read the second book, because it's a series. Like, things build upon each other. My thoughts about this first book might change when I read the second book. Like, you never know. I am constantly going back and, like, re-rating books on Goodreads. Like, that is such a, like, let's normalize re-rating books, because something that I thought was a 5-star a year ago might not be a 5-star anymore. Like, let's be realsies. But from how I'm feeling now, I think it's about like a 3.5 to a 4, personally. I rated Kingdom of the Wicked a 4-star, so that's why I'm like kind of trying to, I guess, I don't want to compare them to each other, but like kind of compare them to one another, because those are the only fantasy books that I've read so far. But yeah, Kingdom of the Wicked definitely had more romance in it, and I think that's why I'm like gravitating it towards it more, because that's just like what I love, and it had like a brooding, like, male love interest, and it's enemies to lovers. Granted, if it goes the way I think book is supposed to go, this is enemies to lovers. I just don't know. Yeah, I don't know who the real love interest is in this, so I'm not gonna speak on that. I'm not gonna speak on those tropes or confuse anyone or make anyone mad because I'm getting it totally, completely wrong. But yeah, I think my plan of action is that I'm gonna finish the Kingdom of the Wicked series, just because that it's been consuming me, and then I'm gonna jump back into this universe. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to jump into a new book right away, just because I'm kind of in a book hangover. Again, the cliffhanger did numbers to me mentally, but we might be carrying this reading vlog into tomorrow, just because, I don't know, I have off tomorrow, might as well just vlog my day. Even though I'm probably just going to sit in my bed and read all day, but yeah. It is the next day, and I am like 100 pages into Kingdom of the Curse, and oh my gosh, I literally spent an hour watching fan art TikToks about this series. Nothing was spoiled for me, so do not worry, but yeah, I am obsessed. This kind of gave into the romance need that I was craving. Not that I didn't like Once Upon a Broken Heart, but like I said, it just wasn't enough of that outward romance. One thing that I noticed right off the bat is that this book is not YA. I don't know why this was in the YA section of Barnes or categorized as that, because there has already been a few little spicy scenes, and so I was kind of confused by this because I thought this was a YA series. So I went on Reddit, and apparently this is categorized as a new adult, but the publisher doesn't do new adult, so they still classified it as YA. So kind of like Okatar, I guess, or Akatar, however you say it, because the first book was YA, and then when you get through the series, it's not really YA anymore. So honestly, a pleasant surprise because I love any Wrath content that we can get, honestly. The enemies to lovers is mwah, chef's kiss. I love the banter. That's one thing that I've loved so far in all the fantasy books is the banter. I guess both books have been kind of like enemies to lovers that I've read so far, but the banter is just unmatched. As an enemies to lovers girly, fantasy reads honestly speak to me in a whole different level. I don't know how I could go back to just regular enemies to lovers and like rom-com books. I don't know how I could do that. But yeah, I'm 100 pages in. There's like 400 pages total. I don't have work today. I have no plans today. So I'm probably gonna be binge reading this book just because I love it. Love it. So yeah. It has been a while since I've updated you guys, and I have a good reason. It's because I've been binge reading this book all day. I have been consumed by Kingdom of the Cursed, body, mind, and soul, if you will. This book is just like crack to me. I love Wrath so much. I love Amelia and their enemies to lovers banter. It's just so good. Highly recommend if you like romance fantasy. This book is not YA. I will tell you that right now. It is not YA. So if you're under 18, maybe not the series for you, but so good. I'm about like 300 pages in, so I have 100 pages left. I don't know if I'm gonna be reading any more today just because my brain is feeling a bit fried from just binge reading all day and not taking any breaks. So I'll either finish it later today, like later tonight after I eat and stuff, or tomorrow after work, because I work tomorrow, but gotta get your money up. I was stalking the author's Instagram and I found out that she's releasing a book about envy, and I am so hyped for it. I think that kind of confirms that there's gonna be a book about each brother or a series about each brother. I don't know what that, if she plans on doing a series for each brother or it's just gonna be a book, but nonetheless, I am so excited because I want to know what's going on with each and every one of the princes of hell. Like, I need to know. So I think I'm going to end the video here, so thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below if you've read any of the books that I recently bought, or if you liked Kingdom of the Wicked, if you've read it before, or if it's on your TBR. Make sure to subscribe for more videos. I've been trying to post more regularly. Now that it's summer, I have a bunch of videos planned, and they're finally being put into action. I'm finally actually filming them and posting them, so I have a lot of fun things planned for this channel, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out. I also have a bookstagram. I usually talk about it in my videos. I can't remember if I talked about it in this particular video, but it's called currently.overbooked. It's linked in the description, and I post daily. I post reels, book updates, what I'm currently reading, book reviews, things like that. So if you want to stay up to date on all things books, make sure to follow me there. So yeah, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.